All right, welcome back to Flex Talks, the podcast, episode 165. Today on the show, free Palestine protests have popped up on college campuses all across the country. I give schools a tip on how they can get out unscathed. Then, transgendery and free Palestine intersect in this week's Cringe of the Week. Then in Urban Decay, we debate whether it's racist or not to have in-group preferences. And last but not least, we have a flip the camera section where we show that the loudest, maddest activists are actually muppets in real life. All this and more, it's Flex Talks, the podcast, episode 165, ranked the best new podcast of all time!
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
Flex Talks, the podcast, featuring Richard Grabboy.
All right, one for one on the intro, as always. Guys, as show watchers, you know something's going on. There's something big brewing, something to be a little suspicious about. You can't quite pinpoint it, but you know there's something coming. That's why you need to listen to your gut and prepare with My Patriot Supply. Since 2008, My Patriot Supply has helped millions of American families prepare for an uncertain future. Many of these families choose the 3-month emergency food kit. With 22 food and drink varieties, there'll never be any food boredom. With over 2,000 calories a day, there will be no starvation. And sealed inside ultra-durable 4-layer packaging, these ready-hour meals last up to 25 years in storage. Go to my website and stock up on these emergency food kits. Get as many as your family needs. There's going to be a $200 off coupon for show watchers, so make sure you go there today. Preparewithfleckus.com is the website. All orders ship fast and free. It's better to have emergency food kits and never need them than to need them and not have them. Preparewithfleckus.com is the website. Now let's get into housekeeping. All right, thank you to My Patriot Supply for sponsoring.
Thank you. You better order your My Patriot Supply or you'll be drinking Fleckus's bathwater in the cold plunge that he never uses.
Yeah, well, everyone knows. Like, we've been doing My Patriot Supply for a while. Mm-hmm. It's time to get your emergency food. Like, now is the time. Whatever's coming is coming soon. So
yeah, they're running out of runway.
Yeah, now is 100% the time. Okay, guys, happy Friday.
Yeah.
Feels good to be back. The AC is working again in the studio. We've conquered the heat. We have sweatshirts on. That's how chilly it is.
Comfy, cozy episode time.
Comfy, cozy episode time. Those last few episodes in the heat was actually brutal. Hopefully no one noticed, but we're back.
I think you could see us losing steam towards the end. Uplifting gold was even more throwaway than it ever is. So.
Just sweaty and shiny. All right, well, it is Friday. First things first, I need to make a correction from Tuesday's episode. I endorsed Paul Wall just because he seemed like a nice, classy guy who dresses well, even though he has grills. Mm-hmm. And that's what I liked about him. It's like, oh, he's wearing a polo and meeting an old lady, and he's got grills. That's great.
Gray hair, you know, he's still doing what he was made famous for, right?
Yeah, and exactly. But I have to revoke that endorsement because I found a Maxine advertisement he did saying, oh, get your Maxine shots.
Yeah, got my first COVID vaccine shot today. Super safe and easy.
That's what it says, super safe and easy.
What was that first part, Paul?
So we revoke our endorsement.
That's why endorsements are hard. Anything someone does, you know, it comes back even after the endorsement. So
yeah, exactly. It's very hard to endorse someone because you have to endorse their entire life.
Yeah, crazy.
But hey, it's revoked. No big deal. Super easy to do. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
All right, we have some spooky stuff out of the UK. There was a bloody horse and another horse released into the streets.
Yeah.
Here's the video of it running, and the white horse is covered in blood. And then the explanation we have, can you give that a read?
Oh, it says a bloody white horse ran loose through the streets of London alongside a black horse. Very biblical, very creepy, maybe.
Yeah.
The Big Ben clock stopped working at 9 a.m. before chiming 11 times. 9/11, someone wrote in parentheses.
9/11.
By adding the numbers in today's date, 24/04/2024, you get 666. Are you ready for what's coming?
So it doesn't sound like everything's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're a schizo-minded person, alarm bells are going off.
Yeah,
Unfortunately for me, I just said, what happened to the horse and why did he get loose? That's me.
Yeah, but for those of us who know how to connect the dots, something's coming soon. And that's why it's My Patriot Supply time.
Yeah, okay.
It really is, though. It doesn't seem like everything's fine. Doesn't seem like nothing.
Yeah.
We're going to move on, but we are going to jump back across the pond in the migrant section this week.
Okay.
All right, but back here with domestic affairs.
Okay.
We have Muppet Joe, Sleepy Joe. He did a little mini tour this week. He was all over the place, and he had a lot of gaffes.
Yeah.
And the first one, we're just going to play kind of all of them. The first one, he claimed he was an 18-wheeler driver. He drove an 18-wheeler.
Besides, I used to drive an 18-wheeler. You know what I did? That's exactly right.
So that's not true.
Of course not.
Never drove a truck. Mm-hmm. What are you talking about?
Okay, 0 for 1.
0 for 1. And then he said that how many times does Trump have to prove that we can't be trusted, which is actually true. Let's see.
In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
1 for 1.
Yeah, he kind of redeemed himself.
That actually is true.
Freudian slip.
And then he had a thing where he was supposed to start a chant, but he just read the teleprompter.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to say 4 more years and then pause 4 more years and start a chant, and look what he did.
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years. Pause.
4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years.
Close.
Poor guy, man.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. Imagine your grandpa going up and humiliating himself.
He reads the pause. It's Anchorman. It's everything. We've seen it before, and we'll see it probably 10 more times before the election comes to a close, as long as they keep trotting him out. But yeah, imagine grandpa.
But also, my grandpa is not trying to ruin the whole world.
That's true. That's true.
So you can't feel too bad. He actually can't feel bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now this last one, he was in Florida giving a pro-abortion speech, and then he said, we're going to take back Florida, but then the camera zooms out and you realize that no one went to his speech.
Moment. And so what are we Florida Democrats going to do in 2024? We are going to vote. We are going to take back Florida, and we're going to make sure that the true champion for reproductive health care, and not just reproductive health care.
He's just in a room with like 11 people.
Yeah, I've seen classrooms more crowded than that, and it's Florida, and it's over. That's a wasted trip. I'm surprised. You know, we always talk about Biden using his NOS on certain State of the Union, big, January 6th anniversary. He uses his NOS. They flew this guy down to Florida, made him do events. Like, just give up Florida.
It might have been Jim Carrey in a mask because we did see this close-up picture of Joe Biden, and it looks like he's wearing the Mission Impossible mask.
Yeah, voice changer, Ethan Hawke under there, shit in his teeth.
Yeah.
Real pulled back shit.
Yeah, something's going on,
which
is why the Democrats are in the market for a Black Swan event.
Okay, fair.
That's pretty much it. They need something to happen. This is who they claim is running. You're either going to have to swap him out for Michelle Obama or have a reason to not have an election.
Yeah.
Because this is nothing.
Big John type earthquake, fracture, separates the highways.
California and the ocean.
California goes away. Actually, they would probably make Florida go away.
Yeah, that's
if they were going to do something like that. They hate Florida now.
Which is why I was telling you the other day we should get jet skis.
Yeah.
So when the water comes up, you just hop on the jet ski.
Do we talk about this on the show?
I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah.
But you have to carry the gas can.
I know. The logistics. He always talks about the logistics.
All right. Joe Biden's administration also proposed a new capital gains tax.
Yeah. Like, imagine doing one of the most unpopular things to any financially minded person across the spectrum, Democrats included, while your popularity and ability to speak is at an all-time low. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. And then the proposed tax, it's like, what is it, 25% on unrealized gains?
Yeah. And that's, I think, for high net worth individuals or something like that, targeting like people who IPO, things like that. There's specific caveats, but then it was 44-ish% for everyone, which is higher than ever, higher than Jimmy Carter, which I didn't even realize that it went that high during Jimmy Carter's era.
And then Michael from Public Square, Michael Seifert, CEO of Public Square, he had a good tweet that kind of summed it all up.
He said, enabling dysfunction while disincentivizing success is the way you destroy the morale of a nation, the welfare state, affirmative action, a progressive tax structure, etc. A serious country wouldn't tolerate any of this.
Absolutely true. And then someone tweeted something that rang true to me, and we're going to get more to it with the Trump stuff in just a sec, that like all these attacks and all these taxes, if you look at it from a wider point of view, it is like an anti-white thing.
Yeah, if white people own stocks at a higher rate than other minorities that live in America, then yes. You know, they love to use the phrase disproportionately affects black people. And what does the stock and what does the capital gains tax do?
Yeah.
Disproportionately affect white people.
And we're always worried about disproportionately affecting when it's like
we can't disproportionately affect anybody, right?
Yeah, but then like the reason when they actually make changes, it's like for people who are like stealing cars.
Yeah.
Like, oh, everyone who gets popped on the bait car, it tends to be black, so it's disproportionately affecting black people. But then when you do the capital gains tax, it disproportionately affects white people. That's actually part of the plan.
And then the capital gains tax not only just being high percentage-wise and a detriment to like risk-taking and investment, this is in the absolute worst waste of money tax season ever. Yeah. Foreign aid bills, we went over it last week. Like you guys, it's tax avoidance season for our audience. And then all of a sudden, what? Like, it'd be one thing. Oh, we have roads. We're going to space. There's a new colony on the moon. We need capital gains taxes. It's like they're sending it to Israel. They're sending it to Africa.
And it's front and center more than ever.
Exactly.
So, like, more dollars than ever are being sent abroad. And now's the time to increase our taxes.
Yeah.
The Trump trial is still going on. There's actually multiple Trump trials happening at once.
Yeah.
There was, I believe, MSNBC, maybe CNN, we're talking about it, and this lady actually makes a decent point and shows that it's not really a crime that Trump's being accused of.
A big takeaway is that this is a crime about falsification of business records. And yet, what the government seems to have the most evidence of is of the underlying conspiracy. What's still unknown to me is how they're going to prove Donald Trump's own involvement in the falsification of the business records with which he's been charged. So we heard a lot of previews of the evidence of the construction of the conspiracy, who was involved in it, who will place Donald Trump with the knowledge and intent to commit election-related crimes. What I didn't hear as much about is how Donald Trump then directed the cover-up thereafter. For example,
it's not really a crime. We have him on video doing all kinds of stuff, but he didn't really do a crime. And that's where I wonder where the Democrats are how they're gonna make that work.
Yeah, and it is a criminal trial, and we're missing the crime. Where there's smoke, there's other smoke, and there's maybe fire somewhere, but we can't seem to find the fire.
Yeah, exactly. And then here's a picture of the Michigan judge for the trial going on over there. This is the judge of Michigan's alternate election case against Trump supporters.
Alternate electors case. You should just let me read.
Yep.
Mrs. Little Miss DEI, Little Miss mad at white people is what is the base assumption. I mean, we've gone over the Scott Adams thesis about how he called African Americans a hate group. Those were his words, based on Pew research. It might have been Pew, but research that was polling them, asking about their thoughts on white people, and it was pretty bleak. I mean, we're not going to go into it right now, but
yeah, exactly. And then we have the consistent theme on the show that we've said a few times about how they use BLM types and they put them in positions of power and they convince them that America is irredeemably racist and it's on them to seek vengeance or whatever they think is appropriate to get back at Whitey.
Yeah.
And Anthony Cumia had a great tweet about the Trump trial. Can you give that a read too?
He said, every case against Trump is packed with black AGs, DAs, and judges. It has nothing to do with justice. It's about retribution. He's the symbol of successful white America. You can tell by their words and actions that this is personal to them. A society can't survive with a judicial system run by morons and based on revenge.
Yep. And that's exactly what we're dealing with. Luckily, the people in the unions are waking up. In New York, they did some interviews with people on the street, and listen to what the union guys said about Trump.
What's it like seeing so many Republicans in Manhattan, so many Trump supporters in Manhattan? Does that surprise you?
No, not at all. It's turning now. Trump's turn again.
What's your message to Joe Biden?
Fuck you.
There we go.
He's quick with it.
That's my type. And then also, just because BLM types are put in positions of power and used to get revenge doesn't mean that all black people are on that same page. We have a new Donald Trump poll worker heading to the polls this November.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Check it out. Check it out. I'm a poll worker now. I'm a Republican poll worker. So all y'all thinking about help Joe steal this year, Ain't gonna happen. Look. I'm a poll worker. Look at my seal. Look at my seal. Look at my seal.
That's great. I'm feeling really confident.
For some reason, I don't really love that.
I'm feeling really confident now.
A couple repeating phrases. But back to the judges thing too. The judges, for the most part, or a lot of judges, just get appointed. You know, that's the big thing. And then they have to be confirmed in some cases for high-level federal judges. But they just get appointed. So it's just like you can pick out a disgruntled person.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's one of those things where the right is like, oh, I'm a constitutional judge. I'm doing this. And then like the left is like, I'm fucking angry, looking for revenge.
I'm Letitia.
And
it's like, I've heard enough.
What the fuck? But at least we got poll workers, the thin blue line of this guy.
Yeah, he's going to make sure it doesn't get stolen again.
Right. Fuck.
Great.
It's over.
Page 2. Let's move on. Remember last episode I showed you guys that stupid game that got advertised on Instagram about counting all the bugs in the room?
Yeah,
and then you
picking them out.
Pick them out, and you clean the virtual room, and it's just meant to waste your time and absorb your brain energy. I got a new one. This was advertised by on Instagram. If you can find 20 cats in the picture, then most likely you are a genius.
They really rope you in with a genius. You're going to be so smart if you get 20, and you have to count out 20 cats.
And then really quick, just count out 20. There's like 30 cats in the picture.
Yeah, they overdo it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
You're
13,
falling victim right
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
21, 22. It's not even hard. So
they got you right there.
Yeah, well, you just got some of my brain power. But this is why everyone's IQ is going down. No one can focus, and when you do have downtime, instead of like reading a book or doing something long game related, you just have to like get your energy sucked up by Netflix or whatever. And that's why the show is over an hour long. Because if you complain and say, "Hey, I can't watch it. It's not 30 seconds," we don't want you.
That's so true. Yeah, TikTok brain.
TikTok brain need not apply.
You know, I'm reading a book right now, and it's an old-timey book, and every time I get to a word I don't know, I Google it. That's how you learn. You don't learn by counting cats on a fucking video game. You don't learn by picking out cockroaches.
That's so true.
You don't know how to Google, though, so you wouldn't know what that means.
And reading book.
Yeah.
I don't know reading book that good. All right. Speaking of finding 20 cats, my dog Jerry, the Rottweiler, he's been acting a little weird lately. And I just want you guys to let me know if this is something I should be concerned about or if it's something I can do to fix this. He's biting his own foot while he's trying to eat. So let me know in the comments if that's weird. His own foot is getting near his food and he thinks it's something else and he's like attacking it. I'm just kidding. You guys don't think that's Jerry. This is Jerry. He's a real champion. Here's him lately. He looks great.
Excellent use of housekeeping time. Thank you. I think yesterday, or I think Tuesday, our episode was 40 minutes of housekeeping.
Good.
Which, yeah, I don't mind it. But
housekeeping is the best part of the show. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just kidding. This is what Jerry looks like. Everything's fine. And we actually got Jerry off of kibble. He doesn't eat that shit anymore. I just feed him meat now.
Yeah.
I bake it once a week, and I have this huge tray, like ground meat and all these organs, and he eats it. He slurps it up like a Asian person at the dock. Fiddling with your bait.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. There's something I'd like to bring to everyone's attention. It's called Russian sports.
Okay.
So here's an example. It's big net hockey happening in the background. And I was just kind of realizing that while U.S. sports becomes twinkified with penalties and flopping and no steroids, Russia has taken the torch and is working on fulfilling sports' destiny.
Okay. Yeah, what is this, like soccer hockey where the ice rink is huge and the goal is
way
huge
more
too?
fun. It looks way better. And, you know, while the NFL fines you for pointing at someone at the other team, $40K, Russia invented murder basketball. You can just go suplex somebody.
That doesn't seem fair.
I think as long as you pop your shirt, then it's a fight. Because everyone pops their shirt and then you get suplexed.
Interesting.
Isn't that way better? So this is the future of sports. And it's an example of like the pussification of the West. And it's good to know that at least some countries are trying to step up to fight that.
Yeah, they're trending up instead of down.
And we're seeing something similar happen in music. We have a clip here of Jap Louis Armstrong is what you call it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Look at this. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that at all.
Yeah, it seems like a respectable tribute to a great musical performer.
Louis Armstrong. Japan, this Japanese guy loves Louis Armstrong. He goes, okay, I'm going to sound like him. I'm going to dress like him. And then what, should I not look like him? Should I
just be a Japanese guy?
Should I just be a Japanese guy up top? No, I'm going to go fully committed. Japan doesn't have a history of racial abuse of black people. Japan has nothing to. Yeah, we can dig a little deep.
They currently are. But, that's a tribute, and that's respectable, and they're respecting the artist. They're trying to look like him, sound like him, and dress like him. They did a great job, and I'm not offended by that because there was slavery one day.
Yeah, because once upon a time, some people got some mean stuff happen to them, and in America, in a different country. So... Yeah. Enjoy it, Japan. Have fun. You guys can still have fun, right?
Enjoy it. Exactly.
We can.
You're not going to cancel yourselves like we do here. All right, moving on. Make sure you guys use this opportunity to juice the algo. Help us tickle the post. Leave a like, leave a comment again, then start yapping. Notifications need to be on, and our P.O. box needs to be full. So send some stuff to the P.O. box. I actually have a new theme of things I've been receiving in the P.O. box that we're going to go over on Tuesday. Okay. And I'm going to inspire the audience to send me more of these things. I'll explain more on Tuesday.
All right.
And I'll explain in bonus land today, too. But Tuesday is when the public will get it. If you guys want the early inside scoop, fleckustalks.com is the website. All right, let's move on to our migrant section. It's first part of our migrant section. There's a new poll out asking people what their views on mass deportations are. Can you give that a quick read and once over?
Yeah, it says share of Americans who say they support mass deportations of undocumented immigrants. And this was a study of 6,200 plus adults taken March through April 2024. So up to date, once they've been seeing some of the carnage, the tax drain, everything, the not sending their best, the rapists, the murders, all the things that we've covered on the show, right?
Some, I'm sure, are fine people.
Yeah, I'm sure there's one needle in one haystack, and she's a nice grandma. But this is what shocked me the most is political affiliation. Obviously, Republicans, 68%, which that should be 99. We should be maxed out like a 13-year-old's Madden team, 99. But Democrats, up to 42% of Democrats say they support mass deportations of undocumented immigrants, which kind of surprised me, right?
Yeah, very much.
It's like they're sick of it too.
Yeah.
They're not really helping. Democrats are just trying to sneak something in, and nobody's happy about it, right? Like the Democrat leaders, that is. Boomers, obviously holding strong at 60. Thank you, Boomers.
Thank you, Boomers.
Gen Z being a little rat. They don't know anything else.
Yeah, 35.
So
rats. But, clearly this isn't a popular thing, which proves our idea and point that they're not doing it for popularity or because it's such a good thing for the world. They're doing it to do a more sinister agenda, have all these people here, ruin society, and then probably cheat in the election.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Fair.
Here's a woman who was attacked by an illegal. He tried to kidnap her.
This was in Portland.
Please help me! Please help me!
Jeez.
Yeah, pretty
That's
dark.
Worst case scenario right there, ladies. I won't say this will happen to you, but you have to assume that something like this could happen to you, and you need at least pepper spray at all times.
Yeah, pepper spray, those little knuckle things that have the sharp edges. This is more likely to happen to you than an Alabama state trooper pulling you over and handing you a pregnancy test. So vote accordingly, right?
Yeah, exactly. That lady is okay.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, that lady is okay, and they caught the guy too. Let's jump back across the pond to the UK and France, where they're a year or two ahead of us when it comes to purposely ruining your country with third worlders.
Of course.
Here's a graph that we found about foreign-born population in London over time. Look at that.
Yeah, straight line up, actual hockey stick there. And, America, we're slightly further behind. We covered this on our own show under Joe Biden. We've skyrocketed up too. So
yeah, but that's shitcoin graph.
Yeah,
That's the kind of shitcoin returns you
That's
get.
what you want to hold. You want to be holding that. But if you're a white guy in London, you don't.
Yeah, it's good for George Soros.
Yeah, bad for you.
And then look at this video in France. These are like Muslims in the streets, and they're just wrecking stuff.
Invasion of Paris by Afghan refugees, and not one woman in sight. Oh, the cafe table? You know the Parisian cafes? They're smashed by an Afghan.
France is lovely this time of year.
Yeah.
Spring in Paris. And then here's a graph of all of the churches that have been burned over the last like 5 or 10 years, I think. I don't know when the time frame is, but it's recent.
Yeah.
I wonder what's causing all that.
Yeah. Anything happened recently? I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like as if the fight for domination between Christians and Muslims never stopped, but one side stopped playing, and the other side just said, okay, we'll keep playing this thousands-year-old war blood feud. We'll keep going.
Yeah, our blood lineage hasn't forgot one bit.
They're actually so this is their chance to really pull ahead.
Yeah.
And then what happens? The future generations are affected. Here's a kid converting his toys to Islam. Oh, not good.
Dark.
Very dark. Very dark. So let's jump back over to domestic affairs. Obviously, this week, the Free Palestine protests have been popping up on college campuses all over.
I'd say reaching a boiling point.
Reaching a boiling point. I would agree with that. Here's a girl who got interviewed who humiliated herself, Fleckus man on the street style.
And what would you say is the main goal with tonight's protest?
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stops. I honestly don't know all of what NYU's doing.
Is there something that NYU's doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're... Do you know what NYU's doing? About what? About Israel. Why are we protesting here?
Palestine will be free!
I wish I was more educated. I'm not either.
Oh.
I came from Columbia. I was there up at Columbia, and we came down. They said NYU.
So it went from Columbia to NYU, protesting what's going on with Palestine and Israel and whatever in the colleges, but then you don't know what you're even doing.
I wish I was more educated.
So then what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What were you so aggravated about if you don't even know what's going on? Why would you be here so passionately? But it doesn't have to make sense. And these are the people who are trying to make the most change.
Yeah.
And it's basically like...
The most mildly informed people are trying to drastically change and interrupt classes at 2 prestigious universities in the heart of Manhattan, right?
Yeah, and a lot of these universities, like especially the Ivy League, many of them are older than the United States.
Yeah.
And now you're like forfeiting your autonomy to like these stupid girls who just want to see anti-patriarchy, anti-white, anti-West agendas enacted.
Yeah, 19-year-old women who aren't sure what they're protesting about or what NYU is doing.
And then you get scared and you're like, and then like these are the same people online. And then you have Columbia who came out and said that for the rest of the year, classes are going to be remote. Is that correct?
Yeah, just in Columbia University has announced classes will be remote for the rest of the year as anti-Israel protests rock the school. There are now growing calls for tuition refunds for the $70,000 a year college now that it's practically turned into an online school. It's vital that teaching and learning continue during this time. We recognize conditions vary across our campuses and thus are issuing the following guidelines, the school said after making the announcement.
I'd be, the stupid student in me would be happy about that.
Yeah.
But also, like, if my parents were paying $70K for me to go to college in New York City, and then I can just go on YouTube, go learn on YouTube.
It's literally YouTube, and then a professor being like, "Can everyone hear me?" Like, it's nonsense. We already saw how it worked with COVID. $70,000 a year, a prestigious university. And it's just a joke because some whiny 19-year-old girls who don't even really know what they're up to are really, really mad. And then Ilhan Omar's niece is there threatening people, getting kicked out. Like, it doesn't sound right to me. There's a teacher, there's the head professor, there's the school administrators, there's a board of trustees. There's like 6 layers of people who are just like, guess we got to go online.
Yeah, exactly, which I don't fully understand. It's all because you get pressure on Twitter from like some fat girl with a shaved head and hairy armpits who's saying how problematic the college is. And they go, what do we do? What do we do? And
we don't want to be problematic.
Yeah, don't listen.
Don't listen to Twitter. Don't open Twitter.
Go like this and just be sturdy. And you don't get rocked.
Turn around in your nice old office that's been around some of these colleges have been around longer than America, and start looking at the old white men who founded it and go, what would Eliezer Wheelock do?
Yeah.
You know, what would these old men do? And part of the thing for these young women too, this girl doesn't really know what she's protesting. It's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
She goes on the street, she gets attention, they kind of shut something down. It's big group dynamics where you're part of something. It's fun for them. It's not really about a mission. They're not super goal-oriented.
They're trying to stop the bad guys.
Do you remember when we were in college, it was the Occupy Wall Street movement?
There was a tent on campus.
There was a tent right on the corner, and we went to an Ivy League school too, so we know some of the whiny nature. It wasn't nearly as bad as it is today, right? Mm-hmm. But one of my favorite things about it was the hangers-on towards the end. Like it was kind of like 2010, late summer. The tent was still up, Occupy Wall Street, but less and less people came. And it was like down to 2 guys and like one guy who really wanted to maybe impress a girl or something.
And then we would go like mess with the tent.
We'd be coming back from drinking out at night. We'd be like, what's in here?
And we open it and look in like, what's going on in here?
Who's in here? Yeah. So, I mean, it's been going on time, you know, Berkeley, all throughout history. This is kind of a natural inclination of college students with a lot of time on their hands and only taking 3 classes. But the main difference between today and yesteryear is the response of the administrators and what they allow to happen, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like they're just kind of getting, whoa, I don't know how to handle this. I'm a woman. Like they hired new people who kind of are weaker on this stuff and then also ideologically sympathetic to it. And so they don't they just get washed over. Oh, I don't know. That would be too mean. And it's like you have a business. All these schools are a business where the end result is degrees in exchange for money. And you kind of can't forget what your bottom line is, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you lose your prestige. And I think we saw Princeton, someone we follow posted, Princeton took a hardline stance. Other colleges are kind of like learning from what's happening and being like, okay, we can't become the butt of a joke like Columbia is.
Yeah.
And so it's just a matter, the instincts are all there. It's just a matter of percentages. They're higher for the whinier women and minority groups. And then the pushback from the administration is less than it always has been. So.
Exactly. And then Greg Abbott, everyone thinks he's doing a good job because he's actually arresting people. Can you read the tweet?
Arrests are being made right now and will continue until the crowd disperses. This was on University of Texas. Mm-hmm. And he goes, these protesters belong in jail. Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated in Texas, period. Students joining the hate-filled anti-Semitic protests at any public college or university in Texas should be expelled.
That's a little much.
What was that, Greg?
Yeah, so when it comes to the border, there's nothing we can do.
We're fighting the federal government. I don't know. Our hands are tied.
We don't have the ability to round these people up. But then when people start coming and doing a protest that you deem to be anti-Semitic, everyone gets rounded up and expelled real quick.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Like, are they doing something illegal? Because it's really easy to get them on something that isn't vaguely anti-Semitism. Like, yeah. I know some of you guys will like, oh, that's anti-Semitic. Cool. That's not what I care about. You can be anti-Semitic.
Publicly. You can do whatever you want.
You might get you might get kicked out of college. You can't get arrested for that.
Yeah.
So
it might be rude.
Exactly.
But unless you're throwing a brick or saying, let's burn this XYZ building down at this time with these tools.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be pretty specific to get rounded up and put in jail for it.
Exactly.
And that's the guy who can't do anything about the border because his hands are tied. But when some people do some protests that the Jewish people don't like, he jumps into action right out of his chair.
It's intolerable, right?
Yeah. So I have like a new theory, or not a theory, a new idea. Whenever people are doing things that don't help the movement and they're clearly showing they're not on our side, like Greg Abbott or Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
He's a big one lately. He went to Columbia and gave a speech on anti-Semitism.
Yeah, the guy who controls the purse strings of our government, the guy who is supposed to be in charge of the border and declaring war and stuff like that, he had to go to Columbia.
To give an anti-Semitism speech when our borders are full and there's all these illegals here and crimes through the roof. He's at Columbia doing a speech. So whenever you see these people, you can just say, you're a pussy, we don't listen to you.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know? That's it. We don't have to explain why, oh, you should be doing this instead of that. They know. Yeah. They know what they should be doing. It's not a situation where someone isn't informed or someone's trying their best and they just can't get it done. At this point, it's not, you have to assume malicious motives.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Mike Johnson, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
You're not on our side. It's just that simple.
Got the foreign aid bill done and hopped on over to Colombia to talk about anti-Semitism. It's like, aren't there like 10 steps before the Speaker of the House comes to get involved?
You'd hope so.
I would think so, but apparently not, right?
You'd really hope so. And then USC had a protest, and here's a clip from it. And I have a little tip for colleges. So, you know, things are getting a little heated. They have their batons or whatever. There's the girl with the bandana and the red hair. What a loser. My tip for colleges is this. If you have these Free Palestine protesters popping up on your campus, the way to have not de-escalation, but have it not escalate, not get out of hand, is send black cops.
Yeah, that's one way.
Because if you send white cops, the enemy, a proxy enemy of this group is white people because of patriarchy and white supremacy and colonizers and oppressors versus oppressed. So if you have like white cops, that's one of the bad guy groups.
Yeah.
But if you send black cops in, is the girl with the red hair and the bandana going to throw a bottle at a black cop? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. Force her into a decision. Which is worse, a cop or a black man? You know,
yeah.
Like she goes,
and she'll at least freeze.
I know. She'll go, wait.
So that's my tip for colleges. If you want to get out somewhat unscathed, send black cops at the front line, and people at the protest are not going to know what to do.
Yeah, and then hopefully that black cop doesn't George Floyd somebody, because that would be, we wouldn't know what to do with that. Society at large.
Exactly. All right, last clip from this section, the strings for decolonization. This was a performance put on by some Muppets. Look what they're doing. Got the strings of colonization. So this is who everyone is like forfeiting society to, these loud voices, and this is what they think is important in art and spreading their message and cause.
The girls, they want to play with yarn at the end of the day, no matter what.
Yeah, and then N Wokeness had an interesting tweet about the demographics and who's complaining the most.
Yeah, N Wokeness said unmarried women favor Democrats by a whopping 37%. Every other group favors Republicans. That really says it all. And then Scott Adams had some insight on this, and he said men and the women who like those men tend to be Republicans. The batshit crazy demographic, single women, who famously have the highest rates of mental health issues, are obviously driving the Democrat short bus. But we still have to call it a political difference instead of a glaringly obvious mental health problem. When was the last time we solved a problem by misidentifying it?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, these crazies, they go crazy at Columbia, and then the administrators go, I don't know, should we let them? Yeah. So that's the gist that's the crux of the issue, and why nothing's getting solved, right?
Yep, don't take these people seriously. That is the end of housekeeping. We're moving on to Cringe of the Week. Our first clip of Cringe of the Week, the Free Palestine drag queen singing to kids.
Yeah, we're not quite done with this section of mentally ill women and Palestinians, right?
Today what we're going to do is we're going to shout, Free Palestine. Can I hear that?
Free Palestine!
If you're a drag queen and you know it, shout,
Free Palestine!
If you're a drag queen and you know it and you really want to show it, you're a drag queen and you know it, shout, Free Palestine! Excellent.
CERN's particle collider did this?
Last week I would have said no. This week I'm saying yes. And you got to think, this is drag queens, men with fake boobs talking to children in like a nursery rhyme about freeing Palestine. How do any of those 3 points couldn't be farther across the map from each other?
That's why the intersectionality and like intersectionality in general, when you look at it from the point of view of a normal person, it's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
Like the men who dress as women,
they have access to kids.
They get access to kids. They take a break from lip syncing Aretha Franklin songs and then convince children about the correct side to join for the thousands-year-old blood feud in the Middle East.
Makes sense to me that none of these people in this room have ever been to. They've never been there.
We got to send this guy to Gaza to get this all sorted out.
Yeah, send him to the front lines. Send him to like General Khamenei. Like, see him shake hands. I'm here to serve. Yeah, and it couldn't be further from like your own interests or what you care about, and that's why the everything is everything attitude of the left oppression and victim and whatever. It doesn't matter. Everything is everything. We'll find some common ground if we're equally oppressed. And this is like, we're the Santa Monica scuba divers for cleaning up Mount Everest. Well, okay. Sounds I don't know. Maybe.
Is that something you guys come into contact with?
Hope your fundraiser goes well. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then in a nursery rhyme format.
Yeah. As long as it subverts the West, it's
George Soros. George. Happy times.
Exactly. Our next clip is a girl who has not been accepted by her cis family.
Brother is super straight and cis and like married, has a wife, has a fucking dog, lives in Rhode Island, and I'm like, I don't do that shit. I'm in New York. I'm poly. I'm pan. I'm queer. And I've had my head shaved, and it's like 20 degrees outside. New York City's full of really interesting, fun, weird ass people. I would love to just outwardly be a part of that, but my family is just not gonna accept me. The world is just full of people that are so mean to each other, and it's like really hard for people like me and all the people that I'm around to just like be themselves and go about the world not facing judgment. I want to be someone that changes people's minds, but I got tired of that. Would I make my family upset? They would just have questions, and I'm like, I'm so tired of answering people's questions. Why can't people just take a minute to understand each other? Life is too fucking—
That's enough. She really shows her cards when she says that she wants to go through life without facing judgments and having to answer questions about herself. And like, why is that? It's because she's like would be held to a standard if someone asks questions, and then standards are yardsticks for success.
Absolutely.
So you can like, if you're held to a standard, that means like you can kind of measure how successful you are. And because she's painfully average, she doesn't really have anything going for her. All she can do is distract from her lack of accomplishment, and then she shaves her head, wears stupid shoes, hangs out with a bunch of muppets.
Says I'm part of this weird community where nothing matters and everyone's accepted. And I also think you can see how quickly it flips from like faux confidence to like a true sadness, which I feel bad for. A lot of times when we're commenting on stuff like this is like a sad person, you know, and they made really poor decisions. You can't forget there's not zero responsibility.
Yeah.
There's actually quite a lot. And there's a certain level of doing things in quiet. Like she could have done all this and like gone home for Thanksgiving and been like, oh, I haven't found anyone yet, and go do her poly shit on the side. But she wanted to be front and center with that and get the desired result, where everybody accepts it, and not only accepts it, but applauds it, And so she's asking for like a desired result from her parents, from her brother, from everyone. And her parents are just like, we'll just have Thanksgiving with Michael, and it's sad, but it's a little self-inflicted and then delusional, right?
Yeah.
Like where she's like, I want to be accepted. I want to be just brought in. Everyone should be nice to each other. Nice to each other is code for accepting and nice to me and encouraging of me. And instead, she works at a nonprofit, and she's going to be doing this shit for the next 40 years, spinning her wheels in the mud.
And then she thinks all these migrants should be here, and then the migrants are going to do crimes to her, and then she goes, well, she doesn't make the connection.
Yeah, but she's got a shaved head, so she's a badass.
Instead of working on herself and improving and trying to like make accomplishments, she actually leans into the things that she thinks are going against her, which made it so she can't be successful and can't do anything.
Yeah.
Instead of like overcoming things, she goes, oh, I can't because everyone's so hateful against pans people. I don't even know what pans people are.
Everybody but my polycule is fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's like, you think that's true?
And I can't be successful until the entire city's viewpoint changes. And we're also bringing in thousands and thousands of third worlders.
Yeah.
So it's like an impossible uphill climb.
Even if you're like a high school quarterback, not everybody's going to think being a high school quarterback is impressive. Some people go, that's fucking stupid, waste of time.
Yeah.
I'm getting A's and everything. And then
you're a big dumb job.
Yeah, you're a big dumb. Like, no, not everything is going to be appealing to every single person. And then thinking that is kind of crazy, right?
Exactly.
Assuming you can change that.
That's a good point. But a lot of the corporations are actually on her side. Google, one of the biggest companies in the world, the biggest company in the world.
They actually just saved the economy with their earnings today after hours, unfortunately.
But if you ask Google, can men menstruate? It says having a period is not a feminine thing, and people of all genders menstruate.
Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Google, for subverting us Oh, man.
I'm glad you beat your EPS estimates.
Yep. Thank you for helping the economy. Yeah. All right, let's move on. This is the flip the camera section. So these are people that are getting berated and attacked in public verbally. We're actually going to flip the camera at the end and show who the person bothering everyone is.
Yeah.
This is Quentin at the Dollar General in Pflugerville. What did you say, Quentin? You called me a she, her?
I don't know what.
And you said to get the fuck out because your system's...
I don't know what you said, man. Go on somewhere.
Oh, no, what'd you call me? Please, Quentin. Please feel free to tell me what you called me.
We can play this game all day.
Oh, what
I
game?
like
Are you
Quentin.
being transported?
Like Quentin, too. All right.
That's in Texas.
This is in Texas. The deep... Oh, actually, I was going to say deep red Texas, but Pflugerville. So Quentin, you know, a Dollar General employee. Not exactly the tip of the spear, the peak of the mountain for oppression, right?
Yeah, the guy who's in charge of global hiring.
Yeah, he's a borderline minimum wage worker at a discount store. And so you ready to flip the camera?
Let's flip the camera.
So we actually have Quentin's POV, and here's what Quentin saw.
Here is giving me a hard time here at Dollar General.
All right,
Doesn't want to leave because their card is declined because
My
of
card did
insufficient
not
funds.
declare. It did not say insufficient funds. What did it say, ma'am? Did my card say insufficient funds, or did it say that your system's not working?
All right.
This little boy.
Just a little boy with a little mustache and a weird voice, right? So Quentin turned it around on she, her, as Quentin called it. And, you know, you might see that video and think, oh, this guy's a dick. I'm assuming bad things. You know, he probably did something mean to this person. And it's like, think about who's in the store recording this thing. And it's not exactly the picture of health. Definitely not the picture of mental health.
I was going to say mental health. No. Mental health, no.
So you got anything else to say about this? Or
I said mental health, no.
Okay.
That was pretty much it. Yeah. They got Alec Baldwin, too.
Yeah, everybody saw the Alec Baldwin one. We didn't cover it on Monday. Here's Alec Baldwin at the end.
Free Palestine, Alec, just one time, and I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you alone, I swear. Just say Free Palestine one time. One time. One time.
Call the police.
One time, Alec. You know he's a criminal. You know he's a fucking criminal. Come on, Alec, just say Free Palestine one time.
All right, you get it. And then he swipes at it, right?
And then I'm on Alec Baldwin's side.
You can kind of heckle Alec Baldwin for shooting someone on set.
Yeah, but then you just add Free Palestine to it?
That's out of bounds. So yeah, you can't force Alec Baldwin to do Free Palestine, right?
And then you flip the camera on who this person is, and then you see her here. Here's Alec Baldwin trying to get her out.
And it's some black woman, freak leftist with blonde hair in her underwear.
Yeah. And then
yapping Free Palestine at Alec Baldwin. And it's like, are you stable? Are you in charge?
Yeah.
I think I'll go with Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin probably knows how to act at a country club.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Alec Baldwin knows how to get a reservation at Carbone.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin knows how to dress in between Memorial Day and Labor Day.
Exactly. I'm with Alec Baldwin on this one. I've seen the other camera flip, and I'm not into it. So.
And then here's this person on Piers Morgan at night. Here's what she wore on the show. So that's pretty interesting. She did the white face and had her boobs out covered in tape.
Jeez.
What a freak. All right, let's move on. Don't get too down or too depressed. It's going to get a little worse. We're going into Urban Decay. Good news in LA, Southern California. If you're a homeless street rat, you can get $1 million apartment for free.
Yeah, California City, and it's Santa Monica, right?
I believe so.
OK's $1 million per unit homeless housing project after audit found state wasted billions on crisis.
Wow.
Santa Monica, city officials last week approved a multi-million-dollar apartment unit for the homeless just days after the release of an audit, which found California could not account for $24 billion it spent on the state's burgeoning homeless crisis. And that $24 billion, I believe, was between 2018 and 2023. So cumulative of $24 billion on people. They're still homeless.
The homelessness got so much worse. $24 billion is basically missing.
Vaporized, gone, you know?
And then now these homeless people are getting $1 million units, 122 units, so $122 million, $1 million each. Some people work their whole life to be able to afford a $1 million apartment in Santa Monica.
And they fall short.
Most people don't get there.
They have a heart attack at 55 and they go, I never got my beach house in Santa Monica.
Yeah, exactly. But all you had to do was shit on the ground, sleep on the subway, and yell at the top of your lungs in the middle of the night.
And some of these are like 3 bedrooms. Some of these are a 3-bedroom apartment, and it's like, what? If you're homeless, what do you have? You don't have kids, right?
You're close to the water.
Yeah.
It's in Santa Monica. You're walking distance to the beach.
Good news, though. A second design concept would have cost even more, north of $200 million for 196 units. So this one's cheap by comparison.
They saved a couple $1 million.
Yeah. So, and basically there's no improvement. They spent $24 billion, and like it's gotten worse. There's no improvement.
Yeah.
So the money incinerator stays on. The state tax in California, I believe, is 10%.
Mm-hmm.
And certain cities have higher specific tax. And Santa Monica used to be a lovely place.
It really did. R.I.P. Well, it died a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, true.
But $24 billion missing. Oops.
$24 billion gone.
All right, let's go to the guy who does nothing as the girl gets attacked.
Yeah, sure.
This is an interesting clip. This happened, I think, last week.
It was just before 3 in the 5600 block of South University. Maddie says a confrontation happened and the suspect demanded her phone before flashing the gun. The pair got into a tussle.
I was grabbing for maybe my phone, maybe the gun. It's really like a blackout moment for me. And I realized that I was able to grab the magazine out of the gun.
The loaded magazine, now in police custody, Maddie says, and she hopes it will help solve the crime. Just minutes after that ordeal sent people in the area scrambling to safety. Another armed robbery involving 2 suspects with handguns reported in the 1300 block of East 56th Street. That crime under
That was an extended mag.
Yeah.
Those are illegal.
Wow.
This shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, the criminal
didn't follow the law.
He didn't follow the law. That's crazy.
And then you have the guy sitting there watching.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say, this guy's a pussy. This guy just sat there. A lady, damsel in distress, didn't do anything.
I saw someone on Twitter say beta male didn't intervene.
But then the other guy's got a gun.
It's a black criminal with a loaded gun.
And you see what happens with Daniel Penny types, people who intervene. And the guy probably would and could shoot you. I don't know what you do.
The magazine fell out, but everybody knows there's one in the chamber.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. The thing is, it depends where. This is why you can't live in a blue state, because if something like this happens, you have a situation where you have to go against your own instincts to help somebody, because you'll probably go to jail yourself, or you'll get killed, or the person who's doing it's going to get released anyway. So it's like, for those reasons, you can't even live in a blue state where you might have to go against your instincts and do something that's like against your manhood or whatever.
Yeah. And if I'm this guy and I'm sitting there with my headphones on and I have no gun, there's no fucking way I'm getting involved in an armed robbery. And what? Trying to be a hero just so I could get shot in the chest and bleed out on the street? And then the girl will be like, oh, I'll call someone.
And then the cops will go, what does the guy look like? And she'll go, he's tall.
He's carrying a bag.
Yeah.
So, there's no way on earth, but if you have a gun and you see an armed robbery happening, it's Glock time.
But that's hard to do in what is it, Seattle or California?
I'm not sure, actually.
So it's hard to do probably wherever this is. But in Florida, if you do the right thing, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, the St. Lucie County Sheriff will come out and give you like a high five.
Go on his Instagram.
Yeah, you'll get to do a press conference in front of the next criminal who tries to drive away in a scat pack.
Yeah, exactly. And then this next clip is a woman in Seattle who was attacked by 13-year-olds. She was punched in the face because she tried to stop them from robbing a store. And look at this. So she tries to kind of stop them. They're stealing. They go outside.
They snatch from her.
They punch her in the face eventually.
Yep.
So they're stealing.
Look at how many people all reach down to steal.
And then here they go. Here she comes trying to stop them. She shouldn't be doing that, especially in Seattle. Yeah. All these people are probably repeat offenders. They just keep get let out. And then here it comes. Boom. They knock her out, or they punch her in the face. And then they arrest the kids, and they let him go.
And they find out he's 13.
And they go, oh, you're too young to be arrested. You're old enough to do crimes, too young to be arrested. And they let the kid who punched the old lady in the face, let him go.
Yeah, and that's who needs to get out.
Yeah.
The old lady punchers, proven old lady punchers. And then a little 13-year-old brain goes, hey, I punched that old lady, and then they let me out. You think he's more likely to do it now or less? Did he learn a lesson? Are the incentive systems there? Oh, I don't know. Probably not. He's probably going to go hit a lick right after this.
And then when the media reports on it, they don't actually report on it. They cover for the people, especially when they're people of color. They cover for them, and they give euphemisms.
Yeah.
So we have 2 new euphemisms this week.
New York Post, misogynistic maniac charged in string of random NYC attacks on women over the past month. And there he is.
Misogynistic maniac.
He hates women.
Yeah, there he is. I bet specific types of women.
Yeah.
I bet it's all white ladies. And then here's one about from a woman who was stabbed. Listen how the media describes the perpetrator.
Victim stabbed in the throat. The ambulance was called and the woman was treated by paramedics, but no word on the extent of her injuries or her condition right now. As for the suspect, police say it was a man carrying 2 bags. We don't have any other description at this point.
Oh, a man carrying 2 bags.
You ever see a scene in like Ocean's 11 where like Matt Damon or somebody, he takes off a mustache, takes off a jacket, he unzips something, it's a whole new color, and then he puts on a hat. All of a sudden, he's a whole different guy. This criminal had basically the same exact Ocean's 11 slow motion walkaway, and all it took was him putting down 2 bags. Or actually, he only put down 1.
Yeah, I'm a man with 1 bag.
I'm a man with 1 bag. I'm not black, I'm not white, I'm nothing. I have 1 bag.
And we've talked before about how like these types of descriptions are the stupidest because it's like, oh, a guy in a red shirt.
The Girl Scout cookie heist was
because
one
of like
that-
how easy it is just to change your red shirt.
Yeah.
This is easier.
I know.
A man carrying 2 bags. That's it.
Imagine he shifts 2 bags and he puts them both in one hand and it looks like 1 bag now. And it's like the Jason Bourne music plays. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's end Urban with our next clip from Carnival Cruises. And this is our section about in-group preferences and if it's okay to prefer to be with people of your same race, and if not, whatever. We're going to debate it after this.
Carnival Cruises was ghetto. It's really just anti-black. I promise you, it's just anti-black. You go to work and you be screaming.
So if you couldn't understand, she said anybody who said Carnival Cruises was ghetto, they're just anti-black. Right?
Yeah. And that's obviously not the case. There's certain groups that behave certain ways generally.
Yeah.
And it's okay to naturally self-segregate. Like that's what happens in the world.
Yeah.
And it's okay if the white people scene isn't your scene. It's okay if the black people scene isn't your scene. I am a guy who likes peace and quiet.
I like silence. I like to hear my own thoughts. And, you know, for exactly like you said, if a black person says, oh, like, I'm not into that white people shit, I don't like golf, or whatever, I'm like, okay, you know, that's everybody has preferences, right?
Yeah.
I personally would never want to be on that cruise ship in my entire life. Seems like random parties, probably some fights. We actually showed a couple fights, Carnival Cruise fights.
All the time.
And, you know, it seems like a lot of people break into song and dance, and there's like loud, like collective stuff. I don't really do that. I'm not involved in that. And is that a cultural thing? Is that a preference
And it's
thing?
not an anti-black thing. It's an anti-loud and rude thing, which in these situations tend to be done by black people. On Carnival Cruise, it's loud. Who's being loud? All these black people.
Who's got the boombox? But there's also music that comes from the overhead speakers. But then there's a side party here. And it's not really a tenable situation. I mean, it's okay to have preferences.
Yeah.
And like the people that you're kind of like.
And then I want everyone to think about this too.
To ignore that is crazy to me. Like,
Yeah.
everything's the same? Clearly, no, it's not, right?
Yeah, exactly. And think about this. If you were in a bar in, say, Atlanta.
Okay.
And you went to a bar and there were 100 white guys and 1 black guy in the bar.
Mhm.
Or if you went to the bar and it was 100 black guys and 1 white guy. Who has a worse, harder time?
Mainstream media would lead you to believe the black guy, or like Jordan Key and Peele would be like, oh, the black guy, we're going to harvest his organs. We're going to steal his mind.
It's a get out.
Yeah.
But in reality, I think the white guy at the black bar has a harder time, worse time than a black guy at the white bar.
Yeah. It depends what kind of white guy and what kind of black guy, but, you know, it's okay to not like either situation.
Yeah.
And black people, it's perfectly fine if you don't want to be at the 100 white guy hangout.
You call them corny white guys. You make fun of everyone, and it's fine. No one cares.
I'm okay
There
with
was
that.
actually a clip from Nate Roscoe, a funny Instagrammer, where he was on a show, and they asked him, do you have any preferences when it comes to dating? And look what he said compared to what they said.
What's one race you wouldn't date?
I'm not into black women.
Oh.
Why is this always
always the answer? I need to know this right now.
So you think I'm ugly?
No, that's not it. You're conventionally a very pretty girl. It's just a preference. I actually tried to kind of see a black girl for a little bit, but I just couldn't like get into it. Like, I mean, if a girl's half, it's different. But like a girl who's like fully black, for some reason, it's just.
So it's just like a preference of skin tone. So you don't like black people?
No, I love black people, but I'm just not attracted sexually to black women.
What's one race that you wouldn't date?
Definitely Caucasian men.
Totally understand.
But you see how one answer, like his answer, and he explains it like perfectly. We're oh no, you're conventionally good looking. It's just not for me, and that's my preference.
Yeah.
And then the other, and then everyone freaks out and says, "Oh, you hate black people or whatever." And then he asks the other girl, and she could just go Caucasians.
Yeah.
And
he goes, "That's great. Enjoy."
Yeah.
That's a preference. You're absolutely fair. That sentence that he says where he goes, "Oh no, I love black people." I don't really say that sentence.
Yeah. He was just being extra nice.
Yeah.
To kind of cover his tracks, and he did a great job of like doing it.
Yeah. I don't really say that sentence. Personally, there's black individuals that I like.
There's black individuals that I like for sure.
But I don't say that. I don't say that qualifier
But
at the
black
beginning.
people as a whole lately has become anti-white.
That's what I think. Yeah.
So
back
it's
to the
like-
Scott Adams thing, and I don't have like a big. That's a jolly group.
Yeah.
It's kind of an angry, disgruntled group who's always demanding things and then voting against my interests a lot of times. You saw they were one of the lowest groups for the deporting of illegals too, even though their wages are driven down a significant amount. So
Well, they don't know all that.
I don't use that qualifying sentence. Yeah.
Neither do I. All right, moving on. Our last clip of Urban Decay. This was. Can you explain it? This is kind of your pet project.
Yeah, well, it just kind of came out right before we started filming. But you guys remember a couple weeks ago there was a viral kind of audio recording of a Baltimore high school principal who was saying some racist things about the students, and I'm just going to play that to refresh your memory.
You know, I seriously don't understand why I have to constantly put up with these dumbasses here every day. Between these ungrateful black kids who can't test their way out of a paper bag.
Ungrateful black kids who can't test their way out of a paper bag. And it was the news just broke that the Baltimore County Police have arrested Pikesville High School's former athletic director Thursday morning and charged him with using artificial intelligence to impersonate Principal Eric Eiswert, who you heard on that recording, leading to the public to believe Eiswert made racist and anti-Semitic comments behind closed doors. So, I don't know, you guys may have thought the future in AI would be we don't have to leave our house and computers help us with our work, but we still earn money.
You press a button and then a full meal comes out of the microwave.
Yeah, the pizza from Back to the Future where it goes in like this and it comes out, the hydrator, it comes out. That's the new AI.
And they're just using it to make fake hate crimes.
It's just more fake hate crime hoaxes.
It's funny because before you explained it, I was going to defend the teacher and go, that's not that bad.
The recording? Yeah, he can say that. What? They illegally recorded him.
Yeah, what are the test scores? Let's see the scores. Yeah. So it was an AI thing that made the teacher sound like he said that and it wasn't even true. And then you go to jail for making a fake AI thing.
Apparently.
Well, it's an attack on someone's livelihood. You try to get someone fired for that.
Yeah.
And, you can also cause basically a little uprising from that too.
Yeah.
All right, well, don't get too down or too depressed. Moving on to uplifting gold. We're going to prove to you that life is worth living and we're not defined by all these negative, horrible clips we've seen every single week over and over. And our lives as Americans aren't coming to an end in a country that was once great is lost. We're not
ready to admit that just yet.
Because there's a
squid ink.
There's a squid ink.
This girl has a good accent.
All right, let's go to the first guy who's the white guy singing Mexican language. I like that.
Yeah, that's good vacation shit.
It's good vacation shit you do over there.
Yeah.
We don't need to bring anyone here and this can happen in Minneapolis.
Penn Station. This would be great in Penn Station.
We got enough of it.
Do it over there.
All right, let's go to the girl with the southern accent.
That's actually a good point. You notice how there's never mariachi bands in America, even though illegal immigrants have come over here. And I know illegal immigrants, a lot of them are from places beyond Mexico, but I never see the mariachi. There should be at least one.
I've seen some mariachis.
Yeah.
When I lived in LA, we used to have parties, and we'd always do like an X Factor thing. Like one time we had like the hot dog lady from Hollywood Boulevard.
The sausage cart with the peppers and
we
the
had one of
onions.
those, and that was really cool. And then one time we had a mariachi band.
All right.
And that was lit.
Fair.
So I can't back that up.
All right.
Let's go to the girl with the southern accent. This is nice Americana.
Y'all, there needs to be an update on today's weather. If you're scared of the spiders outside, y'all better stay your butts in the house because I done found about 4 spiders on me in the past hour. I don't know what flavor of spiders they are, but let me tell y'all, they've been crawling all over me. So if I'm in the ER,
All right. We get it.
We get it. That's nice.
What is that? Kentucky? Appalachian Hill country? Kentucky shit?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. There's a southern accent.
Yep.
Where I come from.
At least it's not a foreign accent.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love accents like that. I've
great.
often defended. I like Chicago. I like Philly. I like everything.
I like when people talk a certain way because of America.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the squid ink mistake. Some people saw this clip go viral. The guy covers himself in squid ink, and they actually check in with him 5 days later.
A lot of you might have seen this viral video where some crackpot got a squid ink sack and rubbed it all over his hands and arms. Well, let's just watch it again, but then stay tuned because we're going to show you what his arms look like 5 days later.
It's crazy. Don't do it, Winger. Don't do it. There he goes. So I let it dry on there, and that was the biggest mistake. And now it's like a crust on me. Like I'm hoping it'll come off the next few days. But that's what that squid ink looks like after 5 days. It's starting to show a few signs of wearing in between my fingers here. And so I reckon within a week or two it should be off me. But that's what you're going to put up with if you muck around with squid ink.
Damn.
Crazy.
5 days.
Yeah.
What about squid ink pasta?
I don't know. I never had that.
I don't eat shit like that.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
It's a defense mechanism.
All right.
All right, let's move on to the history of the ice cream scooper.
All right. Easy scoop. Same mechanics pretty much every time. This looks like it's for an ice cream sandwich. Yeah. Dump it out.
Wow.
Pretty similar. Nice.
Wow.
1905.
This is all old shit.
Yeah. Feels good.
And now you get some plastic from China and it breaks and you throw it out and order a new one on Amazon.
I don't know. Aren't most ice cream scoopers metal?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Still from China.
Still from China.
And then the ice cream, if you leave it out, it doesn't melt like we showed you that last week.
Mm-hmm.
But look at all this ingenuity. People have been enjoying real ice cream for a long time.
And now it's all poison seed oil crap.
All right, uplifting gold. Stay calm. Remember, we're in uplifting gold. Relax.
It's history. It's good to know that history, at some point in our history, we were serious people.
Now we're giving it away.
And our last clip is Trump meeting these kids.
Kids are smiling at the camera.
Trump looks great.
Is this your family?
This is.
This is a nice looking family, huh?
And there's Secret Service with the fake arm, with the machine gun.
Can they stand next to you real fast?
Come on, let's go.
Take a picture.
Look how happy they are.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dad. You take care.
Thank
Wow. Isn't that special?
Thank you.
That's nice. Trump took the time. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who's this rap boy type over here?
Oh, wow.
Zoom, Nick, enhance, please.
The very
top
last
left
second,
corner.
Yeah. Rap boy type. Just in time for our doppelganger
Time
section.
traveler.
Wow. Rap boy doppelganger. All right. It is Friday, so we have our shout outs. We have a lot of happy birthdays this week. Happy birthday to Alex Moore on April 23rd.
Happy birthday, Alex Moore.
Ben Trubisky on April 24th.
Ben Trubisky, like Mitch?
Like Mitch, Mitch's brother.
Oh, wow.
Mitch got him in on the show.
Very nice.
Show watchers. Nick Moore on April 27th, and his mom's birthday is April 30th. So happy birthday to Nick and happy birthday to Carrie on the 30th.
Happy birthday.
The whole family watches.
Great.
That whole fam.
Separate devices, I hope.
Greatly appreciated. It's very important for separate devices because otherwise it's like 6 people and we get 1 view for it when we should have 6. If you do that 100 times, that's why we have a bad episode. It's your fault. And then Rob and his daughter Abby were on a road trip, but they were watching the show the other day. We appreciate that.
All right.
We have RRB and me doing we have a doppelganger section of people knocking over the rocks.
Yeah, these guys are wanted for destroying an ancient rock formation near Las Vegas in a national park, I believe.
And it looks like me and Richard.
Yeah.
Like I'm the
You're the portly one.
I'm the fat one. And Richard's the normal guy.
And I'm over
and
there.
And people are sending this to me, and then people are also tagging us and saying, this is Richard Ratboy and me.
Yeah. So we might get a visit from like these park rangers and have to prove we were never in Las Vegas during that time. So
yeah, that's
good luck
actually
us.
Scary. And then our last thing is a show shout out in the comment section, a super chat of some podcasts. I don't know what the podcast is.
Corn Pop the Bad Dude, Flecka's Talks the Podcast, the best new podcast of all time. Flecka's Talks the Podcast?
Flecka's Talks.
I think Fleckas, Fleckas. I don't.
That's good.
Thank you,
get it.
Hey guys, it's always good to get the show shout outs like that. And like we said last week, make sure you call into radio stations because it's really easy to win and shout us out there. And you'll get pretty much one of everything from the merch store if you do that. And then there was a meme or something.
Yeah, let's skip that one.
And we'll skip that.
All right.
So that is the end of the show. Another Flecka's Talks in the books. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. FleckasTalks.com right now for a 30-minute bonus land. If you guys like the show and you're watching this late, just sign up for fucking bonus land already, please.
A couple things that we didn't cover in the show that will be in bonus land, so we have a fresh start.
It's a great bonus land coming your way, and it makes the show alive. Thank you guys for watching. Have a nice weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday.
How many times do you have to prove we can't be trusted?
Fuck you.